The world has never been louder. Not just in sound, but in everything. In voices, in movement, in the constant demand for attention. There's noise in our pockets, on our screens, in our thoughts. It fills the spaces where silence used to live. And somewhere along the way, we began to mistake that noise for life. We scroll through headlines, messages, opinions. Every second, something new, something urgent, something that says, "Listen to me." But behind all of it, there's a quiet fatigue. A kind of tiredness that sleep can't fix. Because this isn't the tiredness of the body, it's the tiredness of the soul. And we rarely notice it happening. Because we've forgotten what silence sounds like. Noise is no longer just what we hear, it's what we live in. It hums through the city, hums through our homes, hums through our minds. Every ping, every vibration, every flash of light. Another tug at our attention. We live in a constant dialogue with distraction. And distraction has become our comfort. We tell ourselves we're staying connected. But the truth is, the connection has become the noise itself. The world teaches us to measure our worth by how much we produce, how fast we respond, how visible we remain. The quiet ones get left behind. The slow ones are forgotten. And so we learn to fill every empty moment. To scroll. To check. To reach for something. Anything. Because stillness feels like failure in a world that worships speed. But deep down, we know. We feel the friction. That tiny voice that whispers, "You can't keep living at this volume." We're not just busy, we're overstimulated. Our brains were never designed to process this much noise, this much information, this much comparison. Each day we wake up to hundreds of tiny demands, and each one steals a little piece of our peace. We wonder why we can't focus, why we feel restless, why we crave silence yet run from it. It's because we've trained our minds to expect chaos. And now, calm feels foreign. There's a quiet kind of exhaustion that lives beneath the surface. It doesn't shout. It doesn't crash. It just hums. A background fatigue that makes everything feel heavier. We lie down at night and still feel the noise vibrating in our bones. The world doesn't sleep, so we don't either. We keep chasing calm as if it's something to achieve. Another task on a to-do list. But calm isn't an achievement. It's what's left when the noise fades away. There's something sacred about real silence. Not the silence of turning off the TV or muting a phone, but the kind that comes from being fully present. The kind you find at dawn, when the air hasn't woken up yet. When the world holds its breath, silence doesn't demand. It invites. It doesn't fill. It clears. And yet, for many of us, it's become uncomfortable. Because silence makes us listen, not outward, but inward. And sometimes, what we hear there scares us. But if we stay long enough, something changes. The chaos in our minds begins to settle. The thoughts untangle. And underneath, we find something we forgot existed. Clarity. Silence reminds us that peace was never gone, only buried. It teaches us that we don't have to keep up. That life doesn't need to be performed to be meaningful. When we allow quiet to exist, we start to notice again. The sound of wind through trees, footsteps on a wooden floor, the rhythm of our own breath. Small sounds that belong to the world, not to the noise. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the body exhales. Silence won't come looking for us. We have to choose it again and again. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of obligation, in the middle of a world that mistakes stillness for laziness. To pause is to resist. To listen instead of respond is to rebel. To rest is to remember that we are not machines. Calm isn't about escape. It's about presence, about showing up softly instead of loudly. You can turn off your phone for an hour and the world will not collapse. You can walk without headphones, eat without screens, breathe without purpose. And in those small moments of disconnection, something extraordinary happens. You reconnect with yourself. Every quiet act is an act of reclamation. Reclaiming time, attention, energy. The things that noise keeps stealing. And as the world keeps shouting louder, choosing calm becomes an even stronger statement. Because peace is not passive. It's powerful. The world will always be loud. The noise will find new ways to reach us. Through technology, through fear, through the constant need for more. But there's another way to live. A quieter way. It's in the mornings when you sit with a cup of tea before the day begins. In the walks where you leave your phone behind. In the moments when you breathe and remember that you are here. Not performing. Not chasing. Just being. Peace begins the moment you stop adding to the noise. When you stop amplifying what doesn't matter and start listening to what does. Quiet isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's the strength to remain gentle in a world that confuses loudness with importance. And maybe, the real rebellion isn't to shout louder, but to whisper softly and let the silence speak for itself.